Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Genshin video. Today I'm finally going to be doing the Bennett guide, because as you may know, Bennett's like the best 4-star in the entire game. He really boosts your damage by so much, it's actually crazy how good he is. And so yeah, I'm probably going to do a guide on him, go over his talents, constellations, best weapons, and yeah, let's get right onto the video. As you guys may know, Bennett is a pyro sword user, and he also looks like a Pokemon trainer that I'd beat up his pets and then steal his money. But let's take a look at his talents. We're not going to talk about his normal attacks because actually no one cares. We're mainly going to be talking about his elemental skill and elemental burst. His elemental skill is basically he slashes his sword and does power damage. If you press it, it will do one swift strike. But if you hold it, you can actually charge it up to charge level 1 and 2. And those charge levels will do more strikes. For example, charge level 1 does 2 strikes, and charge level 2 does 3 strikes. But charge level 2 is actually pretty funny because it actually launches Bennett away. So you see that a lot in many clips where he launches himself off a cliff and dies. But mainly this ability is going to be used to get a whole bunch of elemental particles for your Bennett and your other power teams. His elemental burst is the thing that makes him actually crazy. Basically, Bennett would do AoE power damage in a certain area and create a circle field. And in this field, if your character is 70% or below on the health, they will regenerate the health. But if they're 70% and above on the health, they will gain an attack bonus that is based on Bennett's base attack. And it will give your characters the pyro status effect as well. Basically, this one's crazy because how much attack you can actually give to your teammates. For example, I only have a level 7 talent Bennett burst because I just don't have any talent books right now. But at level 7, it gives an 84% attack bonus ratio. And at level 8, it gives you a 90% attack bonus ratio. I'm pretty sure if you triple crown them, it can go above 100%. So it actually gets pretty insane scaling. So this is the one that you definitely want to level up first when you're leveling up Bennett. Now his first passive is just reduces his elemental skill cooldown by 20%. And the second passive is actually pretty nice. Basically, while he's in his elemental burst, his elemental skill's cooldown is reduced by 50%. And Bennett would not be launched by his charge level 2 elemental skill. I really like this one because the cooldown is reduced and you get more elemental particles more rapidly using his elemental skill over and over. And when you're fighting Abyss Lecterns, like the Electro one, you can actually pop off Overload a lot more often. And then his last one is just that he takes 25% reduced time when sent on an expedition in Mondstadt. Definitely level up his elemental burst first and then his elemental skill. Unless you really want to go main DPS Bennett or something, but I'm not really going over that in this video. So definitely the elemental burst and then elemental skill. Now let's look at these constellations because there's one constellation I really want you to have. And there's one constellation I really don't want you to have. It's one of the worst constellations in the game to actually activate because you cannot deactivate constellations. The first constellation is the one that is extremely good that I really need you to have. Basically, on his elemental burst, the HP requirements are no longer there. So you know how if you below 70%, you will heal, and then above 70%, you will get attack bonus? Now that no longer matters. You'll get healed and attack bonus no matter what. And it will actually give 20% more of Bennett's base attack. So this one is actually amazing. You really need this to boost your Bennett's value. It's actually an insane constellation. Now the second constellation is when Bennett's below 70% HP, his energy recharge will increase by 30%. It's pretty alright, but most of the time your Bennett's not going to be below 70% HP because he's not going to be on the field for too long. So this is kind of just like a thing that happens sometimes. Constellation 3 increases the level of the elemental skill. His Constellation 4 is kind of weird and kind of really useless for a support Bennett, but basically using a normal attack while your Passion Overload's charge level is 1 allows it to do an additional attack. I don't know, I don't really see anyone using this at all, so I guess this one's probably useless. Constellation 5 increases his elemental burst level by 3, so this one's actually really good, because you know his burst is amazing, and this will give even more a bonus attack ratio. And then Constellation 6 is the one I do not want you to activate. Please do not activate this. Basically, if a character has a sword, claymore, or polearm, inside Bennett's elemental burst, they'll get a 50% power damage bonus, and the weapons are infused with pyro. This might sound pretty good, but this really restricts the teams you can use with Bennett. Because now, for example, if you're using Razor or Eula and use a Bennett, now they'll do pyro damage instead of the big hitting physical damage. And then if you use someone like Kaching and Park Stiletto so you can do electro damage, it'll get changed to pyro damage. So this really limits the teams you can put with Bennett on, so do not activate this constellation, please. So all in all, at least half of his constellations are pretty good. But of course, the main one I want you to get is the Constellation 1. This will boost the value by so much. So if you have Constellation 1 Bennett, you might want to consider leveling up your Bennett. Now let's take a look at Bennett's artifacts though. There's actually a good amount of artifacts you can use with Bennett, to be honest. One of the most common ones I see is the 4-piece Noblesse set. The 2-piece for him doesn't really matter, but the 4-piece is actually crazy, because using an elemental burst increases all party members' attack by 20% for 12 seconds. A lot of people use this because Bennett's burst already gets them a whole bunch of attack, and then if you just tag this on top of it, it will just boost your attack by even more. So this artifact set is like for a true attack boosting Bennett, and I definitely recommend this one probably the most. Another set that I actually see a lot of people using doing a lot of damage is the 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flame set as well. It'll give him more power damage bonus for his elemental burst and elemental skill. It will increase overload and burning damage, vaporize and melt damage, and using his elemental skill increases the 2-piece set bonus by 50% for a max of 3 stacks. I see a lot of people using this for Bennett by proccing his elemental skill 3 times and then using his elemental burst. And the elemental burst does like a lot of damage, so if you want like a very bursty damage support Bennett that also buffs the attack of your team, this would be a great artifact set as well. And lastly, the Maiden's Beloved set is a pretty good set if you want a healer Bennett. Maiden's Beloved is pretty good for a healer Bennett if you want to get some quick heals in or also get an attack boost. This is also a great artifact set to run on him. I know you might be looking at this Emblem of Severed Fate set, and maybe it's good because it does increase his burst damage and energy recharge, but I haven't seen anyone use this on Bennett, so I'm actually not sure. But maybe look up some videos and see if you find anything, and then make a decision for yourself if you want to put Bennett on this artifact set. Now for support Bennett, you actually don't want to build any attack on him because his attack boosting is only based on his base attack, which is his level and his weapon. So attack percentage on Bennett doesn't really matter. Therefore, for his artifacts, you want to build a lot of energy recharge, like I do right here. I have a Sands of energy recharge on it. And then you want to build HP, and then you can either have an HP Goblet and HP Circuit, or a Healing Bonus Circuit, which I have a Healing Bonus Circuit on right now, just to boost his healing by a little bit more. So yeah, I do recommend getting some energy recharge on Bennett, because you do want a lot of energy recharge on Bennett, so you can proc his bursts a lot more often. And then HP and a healing bonus, or HP, will work as well just to increase his healing, because you do not need to build attack on your Bennett. Now probably the most important substat for your artifacts is going to be energy recharge, because once again it just increases the rate you can pop your elemental burst. And then with the other ones it doesn't really matter all too much, but if you do want to get some more damage in with your Bennett, you can run crit damage and crit rate as well. So just to sum up the artifacts, you can either use 4-piece Noblesse, 4-piece Crimson Witch, or 4-piece Maiden's Beloved. On your Sands, you want energy recharge, on your Goblet, you want HP, and on your Circlet, you want HP or a healing bonus. And then for the substats, you want to get energy recharge, HP or HP percent, and then on the side, you can get some crit damage and crit rate. And that's all for his artifacts. Now for Bennett's weapons. Bennett's best weapons are usually 5-star weapons, because those are the ones with the most base attack. Because as you can see on my Skyward Blade, the base attack, that tags on to his base attack when he levels up as well. So for Bennett, the best weapons for him are the weapons with high base attack or energy recharge. The best 5-star weapon I can think of right now that has the most base attack is actually the Aquila Favonia, because that has the highest base attack of swords in the entire game, I believe. So if you have the Aquila Favonia for Bennett, that is an amazing 5-star weapon for him. But also you can use a Skyward Blade like I do right here. Since it is a 5-star weapon, it already has more base attack than other 4-star weapons. And it also tags on energy recharge, which is amazing for Bennett. Now if you don't have any of those swords, that is alright. There are some pretty good 4-star weapons you could choose from. For example, you could choose from the Sacrificial Sword, which has a pretty alright base attack, and has some energy recharge on it, and its passive isn't that bad either, so you can proc more elemental particles for your Bennett. You could also use your Festing with Desire, that has energy recharge tagged onto it as well, and it will increase your elemental skill damage and crit rate, so also not a bad weapon for him. And then last but not least, the Favonia Sword is also good because it has energy recharge as a substat, and critical hits have a chance to give extra particles to your Bennett. And then if you really don't have any of those swords, you can use the 3-star Skyrider Sword, which has an energy recharge substat. The passive of this weapon doesn't matter that much because once again, this increases his attack and not his base attack. Also, if you want to see how much base attack your Bennett does have, if you press details, the base attack is the white number. So on my Bennett, I have 702 base attack. The green number is actually the number from the artifacts. So if you want to look at your base attack, always look at the white number. So yeah, that's basically all for the weapons. Once again, any 5-star is the best weapon for him, and especially the Aquila Favonia, because they have a higher base attacks than any of the 4-star weapons. And then the best 4-star weapons are going to be the Sacrificial Sword, Festering Desire, and Favonia Sword. Now teams for Bennett, you can literally put him in any team. It really doesn't matter. Any element, any character, literally anybody, Bennett will do like amazing in. But of course, if you do put him on a team with another power character, it increases all your character's attack by 25%. So if you do want to figure out the best team, then it's probably best to put him on with another power character. But literally other than that, put him on any team. Like, literally any team. Doesn't matter. For example, my Rated Shogun team. Doesn't matter. Just put him in there. Boost your attack and damage by so much, it doesn't matter. My Duluth team, put him in there. Doesn't matter. Just literally any team, just put him in there. I could go on for much longer saying just put him in any team, but you guys basically get the gist of it. Now I think it's time we do a little bit of a showcase. Now for my Ben, I have 702 base attack, and then my crit rate is 32, crit damage 68, then I have 275% energy recharge. I also have a healing bonus of 35.9%. So I'm gonna just put my wrong lead. Gonna get Bennett's elemental burst up. Okay, I have my Bennett's elemental burst up. First, let's look at my Ningguang. Right now, at this moment, she has 1,741 attack. And if my Ningguang crits, she'll do 2178 on her things. Now now it's time to pop my Bennett's elemental burst. And then we'll look at my Ningguang. Now she has 1,887 attacks. So she basically got 110 attack boost, which is amazing. And now my Ningguang, when it hits, 14,000 on non-crit, 3,500 on a crit. So it actually does so much more damage for your characters. Now your characters can just actually knock them down. Maybe if my Ningguang actually hit a Stargate, it would have done more damage. But you guys basically get the gist of it. I basically got like a 1,000 damage buff on my Ningguang's attack because of Bennett. So I'm gonna face a Bennett burst. 34,000 on her Jade screen. That's actually crazy. So yeah, Bennett's actually insane. You gotta build him if you got him, especially if you have him at C1. In conclusion, he's basically the best 4-star in the game. He really boosts your entire team's attack by a crazy amount. And on top of that, he's a power character, so you can proc off pyro resonance very easily, which increases your team's attack by even more on top of that. So yeah, and he's just an insane 4-star character. That's all for today's Genshin guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys now know what weapons, artifacts, talents to level up, and what teams to put them in. I mean, in quote, teams. And yeah, that's basically all. What character should I do a guide for next? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye bye.